What's up, all-nighters? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to model an isometric detail from scratch. And when you section it, you get a complete detail drawing as well. So you'll be saving yourself a lot of time by working on these two major drawings simultaneously. Most people stop at a basic 3D model, but in this video, we're going all the way, exposing every detail. So pay attention and make sure you make it to the end of the video to master creating multi-layer floor and wall finishes, how and when to use families and in-place masses, adding structural elements, realistic materials, and hatch patterns for visual clarity, exposing layers of isometric detail, and finally, get access to download this project file. So let's jump into it. The first thing we're going to do is go to the Insert tab and click on the Link PDF option and import the 2D detailed drawing we've made. And then adjust the scale of the drawing by going to Modify tab, select the Scale tool, and adjust the scale of the drawing. Once you have the right scale, drag the drawing to your work area and start modeling by creating the first wall. In my case, it's a curtain wall, so I'm going to the Properties tab and selecting Curtain Wall from the Wall dropdown. Then go back to the Architect tab, start drawing the floor. You can use the Rectangle tool to draw the floor more quickly. Add some dimension lines, and once everything is the right size, finish by clicking on the check mark. Then select the element you have just made and copy it to the floor above by selecting Align to the same place. And when we switch to the elevation view, we can see that the wall and floor are copied to the second floor. Let's create a new level by selecting Level 2, right-click, and from the options choosing Create Similar, then adjust the height and position of the new level we have created. Then, once again, select all the elements already created and copy them to Level 3. And here you can see the elements have been copied. Now, let's change the 4 of the walls face the exterior and draw a new wall and adjust its height. Then go to the top bar and select the Section tool to create a section line. And when we go to the section view, we can see the full detail we've created. Let's create a split window here so we can see both the 3D drawing and 2D drawing at the same time. The model is too wide for detail, so make it a bit by adjusting the size of the walls and floors already created. Now it looks much better. Next, select the curtain wall, and from the Architecture tab, select the Curtain Grid 2 to create grids on the curtain wall. Let's do the same for the upper wall by changing it into a curtain wall and adding grids. Then, from the Architecture tab, select Mullions and place them on the grids you've just created. Now we need to add beams. So go to the Structure tab, select the Beam tool, and start drawing where the beams would be placed. The default beam is not the one we wanted, so go to the Modify tab and select Load Family to load a new beam into your project. You can find different types of beams in the Structural Framing folder. Once the beam is loaded, you can replace the old one by selecting the new one from the Properties panel dropdown. You can also change the dimension of the beam by clicking on Edit Type and duplicating it, adjusting the base and height in the new window. Next, we're going to create the floor finishes, so check the measurements of the ones on the 2D detail first. Then select the floor and from the Properties panel, click on Edit Type. Then duplicate to have a copy of the floor. Then, in the Structure section, click Edit to adjust the size of the floor. Then, by clicking Insert, we're going to add floor finish layers. From the Function dropdown, change the function from Structure to Finish 1 and Finish 2. Then, click on the small rectangle on the side to access the Material window. Here, you can select the material of the floor one by one. I'm choosing a concrete floor, the core of the floor, and cement screen and tiles for the two finishes. Once the materials have been selected, adjust the thickness of the floor finishes and press OK. Make adjustments until you're satisfied with the size of the floor and the finishes. We're going to add ceiling planks now, so go to the Structure tab and with the Beam tool selected, click on Load Family. Then select the timber beam, and once it's loaded, place it on the floor. You can adjust its size in the Edit Type window by duplicating and changing the base and depths. Once created, adjust its position in the section view so that it sits flush with the ceiling. We need to add a hatch pattern to this plank, so go to Structural Material in the Properties panel, and in the Graphics tab, click on Foreground Pattern and choose the pattern you need. We can see the pattern we added clearly, so we're going to change the scale of the project. For that, click on these numbers in the corner and change them to a smaller scale. Now we can see the patterns clearly. Once the beam is done, I'm going to copy it to other areas with a similar beam. Here, I'm going to check the distance of these planks from the 2D detail and replicate it by copying the wooden planks we made within the same distance. Next, we're going to create the ceiling by going to the Outside tab and selecting the Ceiling tool. Then select Sketch Ceiling and the perimeter of the ceiling. Once the ceiling has been created, we can go to the Edit Type window and add new finish layers to change the thickness of the material of the ceiling. The floor needs some adjustments, so I'm going to go back and adjust the thickness of the floor and finishes a little bit more to match the detailed drawing perfectly. Next, we're going to create the stairs, so select the Stairs tool and change the type to Cast in Place Stair. Then adjust the parameters before adding the stair to the project. After that, adjust the size and orientation of the stair to fit the detail perfectly. Changing the riser number, adjusting the slope, so on and so forth. There's another beam needed for the stair, so I'm going to copy the previous beam and place it there. But the size is off, so I'm going to adjust it. The next beam I'm going to add is this one here at the back, so copy again, duplicate, and adjust its dimension. I want to add a floor slab edge to show the connection to the beam, but it doesn't seem to work. So let's leave it for now and create the ceiling insulation. For this, go to the Massing and Site tab and select the In Place Mass tool. Then, with the rectangle selected, draw the perimeter of the insulation material, and from the Create Form drop-down, select Solid Form. Once created, click on Edit Profile to adjust the height and size of the insulation. You can also change the material by clicking on the small square in the Material section and choosing the right material. Let's copy it over to the inside of the building because we have the same material here. Now that we've done all that, let's copy the whole floor to the upper floor plan with the current view. The height is wrong here, so I'm going to move it up and adjust the curtain wall height. The detail is looking good, so let's add some ground on the base. Go to the Massing and Site tab once again and select the Mass in Place Mass tool, but this time we're going to change the work plane. Click on Set, and from the project, select a vertical surface, because that's the plane we're going to draw on. Then start drawing the perimeter of the ground, and once done, select it and click on Create Solid Form. the form will extrude outward from the work plane we set. Click on the surface of the form and drag the red arrow to adjust the form to fit the detail. Once done, select it again and change its material from the Properties panel to Earth. This floor shouldn't be hanging out like that, so let's adjust the boundary and height. Here, we need to add a finish to the wall, so select it and in the Edit Type window, click on Edit and Insert New Layers, just like we did for the floor. Move the layers up and down as needed, and by clicking on this square here, you can change the material for every layer. Finish. I'm going to choose the brick here and add a fill pattern to it. You can adjust the scale of the pattern by clicking on the pencil icon here and playing around with these numbers. Once finished, click OK and exit. Wait, there's a problem here. You can't leave the thickness of the layers at 0, so make sure you assign them some numbers. And as you can see now, the walls have finishes on both sides. Next, there's another material I want to add. So let's create a new mass and set the edge of the wall as the work plane. Then, with the line tool, I draw the boundary of the slab. I actually messed up here. You should always complete the loop of the boundary, otherwise you're going to see this problem here. Once that's fixed, select it, create a solid form, and give it a material. Sometimes going to the graphic display option and changing it to wireframe helps to align the edges better. The insulation we added doesn't have a proper representation in the section view, so let's add it manually by selecting the Insulation tool from the Annotate tab, changing the anchor to far side, and drawing it in manually. We can adjust the size in the Properties panel. Let's add a little more and copy the insulation for the 3D view over here as well. When making 3D details, you need differentiation between the elements, so let's change the color of some of these elements. Select the mass and click on Edit in place. Then select the mass again and go to the Material browser. Here, you can assign it a new pattern and color to make it stand out. Let's add more insulation here. Adjust the size and the material. As you can see, once the pattern and color have been set, all the elements with the masses, including the new ones, look the same. Let's add a sand pattern on top of the color to make it look more interesting. Looks much better than before. Next, let's make the concrete coping by creating a new mass and set the side of the wall as the work plane. Then switch to the left view to draw the boundary of the coping and create a solid form and adjust it, and assign it a material. Next, we'll add a finishing layer to this wall that matches up with the coping perfectly and assign it material, fill pattern, and color. Once done, let's copy it over to the floor below because we're using the same material here. Then, let's add a metal flashing that's going to go over the whole thing. Just like the rest mass in place, this metal coping over the wall and the concrete coping we've made previously. Adjust its size and assign it stainless steel material. And that's it, the foundation of our 3D detail. And at the end of part 1 of this video, we've covered 2D to 3D transition, floor finish layers, structural bones, and in-place massing. If you think that's enough for your project, good. But if you want to take it to the next level, click here to watch the second part of this video, where we cover exposing every floor and wall finish we made, adding custom reinforcement rebars, and adding pipes, air vents, and other MEP families. I'll also show you how to peel back the layers of your building like an onion to create that stunning, exploded 3D look. And you don't want to miss the final export and render settings I'm going to share with you to finish off the tutorial.